Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just stop. This is a sham. Welcome to DBL. Happy Monday, ladies.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Good weekend.
I feel really serious right now.
Why?
I feel like
you
I
seem
take
very
the blazer
summery.
off.
Very
I know the
summery.
color kind of tones it down a little bit.
Lime. It feels like a Saturday sunset.
Do you feel more aerodynamic for some reason?
Oh,
The mustache is gone.
my mustache is gone.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, you look like back to the Jeff that I know.
It was a cool little 2-week experiment, but I think it exuded male toxicity. You know what I mean?
But people coming at you online?
Oh, murdered. You know I said it's an interesting experiment because if I dared tell a woman to shave her legs or armpits, it would be big trouble. For some reason, people feel the need to tell me how to groom myself.
Now you know how it feels. It sucks.
You can tell me though, if I have hairy legs, you can let me know.
I will. All right, so let's get to it, guys. The new list is out with the top celeb polluters based on their use of private planes this year. So topping the list is Taylor Swift. Her plane has been on 170 flights since January, emitting more than 8,000 tons of carbon dioxide. Rounding out the list of the top biggest polluters are Floyd Mayweather, Jay-Z, Alex Rodriguez, and Blake Shelton. Now Taylor's publicist is explaining her plane is loaned out regularly to other individuals. T-Bone has never been on that plane. Nobody's been to that island that Epstein was on. I'm sorry, I have to bring it up once a week. You don't have to go there. The Epstein Island is brought up once a week. But what do we think about the top polluter lists?
Oh my, I just feel like if you were that rich, anyone who's complaining, they would get a private jet too. And I'm assuming that most people who own them don't just like to sit and let their money go to the wayside, like to make money off of their investment. So they would loan it out to other people. And so these people would use other planes if they didn't use Taylor Swift's plane. So why are we blaming her for flights she didn't take?
You want Taylor Swift to fly commercial?
No.
Yeah, how awkward would that be? You see what happened to Mike Tyson?
I'm with you. This is becoming more and more of a thing. But Eric, I heard you talking on the other show about we all do our own part, right? Maybe it's not a private jet, but I kind of agree with you.
I just find it to be so weird that we want to like point fingers because at these top 10 polluters, but we're all polluters in our hierarchy of social stratification. Like just because your polluting is different from someone else's polluting doesn't mean that you're not killing the earth the same. Like the Taylor Swift example, I mean, it only makes the most sense that 170 flights were not actually for her. So I don't know what people want. It's like you want Taylor Swift to be everywhere, but you don't want her to have the convenience of getting there. Like if Blake Shelton didn't actually show up to an event that you bought tickets for, you would be pissed whether he was flying there commercial, flying there on a private plane. Like these are the conveniences that this level of stardom and level of wealth afford. You use your own conveniences to pollute the earth. But why are we pointing fingers?
Because, and I agree, this is very hypocritical. I want to say that. She's right. We all do our own thing in our own social stratification. You're absolutely right. However, I think the optics of the 8,000 tons of CO2 feels like you could cut back or offset something by doing what Leo DiCaprio does, which is raise a lot of money for the oceans. Again, I'm talking PR, totally hypocritical, but Taylor's probably going to need to do something to address it because she's someone that is sympathetic and you want her to be good for the earth, and I think you gotta somehow fix this.
I think the key word that you said is optics.
Yeah, I was about to say raising money for the ocean.
No, and optics are not real. You bring up Leo DiCaprio, but he also has doesn't he have a luxury yacht?
He rents a yacht.
Yeah, I mean it's
I hear you. I'm saying
okay. So the offset. So if you pay enough money,
it's totally
then
hypocritical.
It's okay.
I'm talking PR only, and all of that is shallow. I'm being honest, but I do think she's going to have to do something.
Real.
No, they're not. But I think they are for album sales, and I think she's going to have to do something about it.
So you think people are going to stop buying her album because she has a private jet?
There's rumor her next album is already going to have to be delayed because of this pushback.
That is so intense.
Of the next quarter.
I don't know, because I've been dipping and dapping with the Swifties, because we like this, okay? We like this. And I don't know if that would be enough to make them not buy her
I think it
album
could be.
and support her.
It's stayed in the news cycle enough that I think it's an interesting
It's
thing.
starting to become a thing. Yeah, but I don't like the hypocrisy of
Yeah,
anything,
it's
right? When a mouthy vegan is like, you shouldn't eat so much meat. I'm like, is your purse leather? What are you talking to me about? You know what I mean? Like, back off. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel.
He has a specific example.
I lived in Los Angeles for quite a while, so there's a specific type. Okay. Hey, like me with a mustache, like that. Okay, so after spending a few weeks together in Paris for their honeymoon, Jen and Ben are on a break. I just said that out loud. They are not broken up. They are in different places. We should phrase that a little differently. Jen performed for the first time since tying the knot. She was in Capri headlining a benefit concert for the Ukraine relief effort. Meantime, Ben was spotted back in LA with his ex-wife, Jennifer Gardner. They were at a pool together with their son, very mutually, okay? But everyone is talking about J-Lo's first husband, Ohani Noah. I'm sorry, I was thinking a baseball player. He told the Daily Mail her and Ben won't last because Jen loves being in love. Jen told him he was the love of her life and they would be together forever, but said, quote, that was three husbands and 5 engagements ago. Great.
What, like, why do you feel the need to shade somebody that you were with so long ago? Like, I'm gonna need you to get a life.
Yes,
you have to get a life.
Back off.
Yeah, like, why does it matter?
Noah was married to Jen, and I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, I never heard of this guy
How about
either.
Ohani No One, not Noah, no one. Back off. I've said I loved you and you're the love of my life to many people. I'm sorry, when I had 15 years old, 20 years old, 20 people do
To many
that.
people.
I'm just saying, back off. Get out of your business.
Where are we at, Erica? How do you feel about Ohani?
No one.
It's giving scorned. It's giving
Jealous,
I've gotten forgotten about over and over and over again. It's given she
Or was
moved
never
on
mentioned.
and progressed. Yes,
The forgotten first
it's
husband.
giving. It's very much giving like she had goals and I had a goal of being her husband. It's given like a lot of really sadness because that was like a million years ago. I mean, if you consider, wasn't Jen and Ben together like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
So where was he?
Honey, where were you?
Yeah.
Honey.
Oh, honey. Oh,
Wow. Ohani getting some backlash.
It's just random.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is random.
No one asked for his
It's
comment.
screaming desperation.
He's like that guy at the bar that's like waiting for that moment to be like, hey, were you married to J-Lo? Yeah, I was. You know what I mean? Like 20 years later, like, weren't you the prom king in high school? Yeah,
was.
I was.
Quarterback.
He wasn't married to J-Lo. He was married to Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, that's right. She
Yes.
wasn't Jenny from the block
Right.
yet. All right. Speaking of singers, singer Neil was recently put on blast by his wife. The couple who shares 3 kids got married in 2016, but separated 4 years later. They got back together last year and even renewed their vows in April. Everything going smooth, right? But over the weekend, his wife posted this message on Instagram claiming Neil had numerous affairs with, quote, women who sell their bodies to him. She was heartbroken and disgusted and called Neil a narcissist. Neil responded on Twitter, which is the best place to respond, saying, quote, for the sake of our children, my family and I will work through our challenges behind closed doors. Personal matters are not meant to be addressed and dissected in public forums. He kind of just did.
Yeah, and well, then he posted again.
He did?
Really? After that one?
I don't know anything about his wife. Neo it seemed like a really good guy. I don't know, as a lover, that might be something very different. But my thing is more about the vow renewals. How do y'all feel about the vow renewals? Because to me, it indicates that there is trouble in paradise. Now, I get when it's like, 50 years,
Yes.
25 years, whatever, but like 8, that seems to me like
Still a new marriage.
something is going
If there's
down,
not a
like-
0 at the end of
Yeah,
it,
right.
you do not renew
like
your vows.
5 years, that's like ding, ding, ding.
I also feel like because, like, reading the blogs about their relationship over the years, they've been up and down and breaking up, making up, having kids, breaking up, getting back together, having another kid. So it's like you kind of knew who you were with. And the whole world kind of saw it, so you're letting us know this, and it's like, we wish you guys the best, but hopefully you can sort it out in couples therapy. Just like we asked to be taken out of Kanye's conversation, and Kim, we asked to be taken out of this conversation.
Of the chat room.
Yeah, it's just like kind of, we hope you guys work it out.
But what do you think about her bringing it to the public? Why doesn't she just handle this behind closed doors?
Because
Or does she want everyone to know that he's a quote-unquote dog?
Yeah, and she
something
feels
like that?
scorned. She feels hurt.
So you want to blast them in the public like that?
No, but I think she feels, I'm not saying this is right, but I'm
Right.
sure sure she feels as if she was blasted. It's a well-known celebrity couple. He's been openly, allegedly cheating for all these years. So she feels like this is my only way to get back. Ne-Yo has a really big platform. This is my platform. So she used it. Is it the right move? No. Is it a strategy? Yes.
And their relationship has been pretty public. So like every red carpet, she's kind of with him for the most part from what I've seen. Like, so they're always together and they're always posting very big maternity shoots. So like you got everybody involved. So she wants to let everyone know probably like, well, I'm done. So hope you guys are done with this
but that's
also.
a big statement because if someone, well, I don't know, because it's semantics, right? Like I did do this, so I guess I am a dog. But, you know, if we really want to get back together, maybe we should have kept this in-house.
And I always say that, like, your friends or your fans are not going to get over stuff as quickly as you will. So everyone's going to keep reminding you, wait, you went back with that dog? Yeah. So just be sure that you want to exit stage left because nobody's going to let you live it down.
Ne-Yo had sex with someone on Taylor Swift's plane, and the emissions are terrible. And then they flew. Allegedly, they went there. I don't know. Coming up on DBL, you remember him from Starship Troopers. Casper Van Dien is here. You have to hear his crazy story about getting attacked by an elephant on set. And the internet was going crazy over the weekend about the Jetsons. We'll tell you why after the break.
Closed captioning provided by...
I think it is one of those stories we're all going to be like, what?
Who raised you?
Why am I right all the time?
Am I going crazy?
Welcome to another week of Jeff's Mustache.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Nobody cares.
Oh!
I think so. I think for the most part, people are like, all right.
Oh, great. So this is why. Just kidding. We're talking about the Jetsons, and we're finding out. I guess he got Rosie. What's the woman's name? His wife? What's his wife? Mrs. Jetson, pregnant, quite a young age. Judy. Who was the wife's name? Jane. Is it
Jane, his wife. Yeah.
And Judy. The daughter.
Judy was the
daughter. Judy. The dog.
Who's the maid?
The dog. George.
No, the maid.
Oh, Rosie.
Rosie. And who was his boss? Remember,
Guys, this is so specific. I don't remember all the names.
What was his? Oh, Mr. Slate? No, that was the Flintstones.
Let's look this up. That's
Who was? What? Yeah, Mr. Spacely. That's right. Mr.
Spacely Sprocket. Oh, that's where he worked. That's what you're. Spacely Space.
So he was an engineer.
Sprocket.
So what did he do?
Was he an engineer of sorts?
He just walked around.
He floated. 45. Yeah, it was a lot based on Philip K. Dick's books that you should read in the 60s that predicted a lot of things like Skype and drones. You know, like Minority Report, he wrote that. Okay, that's all I have. I got sweaty.
The guy who wrote Minority Report created Jetsons?
No, he created, in the 60s, he wrote Minority Report. Oh, and he predicted those, like, you know.
The Tom Cruise movie?
Yeah.
He wrote that in the 60s?
It's a short story by Philip K. Dick. The pre-pod is all his thinking. You know where the girls in the back?
20 seconds.
Oh, it's real deep, that's why.
What?
George Jetson.
Welcome back. Happy birthday, George Jetson. For some reason, I was getting Vegas vibes. Like maybe there's the drums or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so yesterday appears to mark the birth of the popular animated sitcom character, George Jetson. So we thought we'd take a look at some of the predictions that the Jetsons got right. Like video calling, which the Jetsons predicted in 1962, has become widely used across the world today.
That's Mr. Spacely in there.
And even if we don't have our very own Rosie the robot, there's another name, device to help speed up household chores like automatic vacuums and mops, they do exist. And of course, how could we forget dog treadmills, which are available online for a few $100s today, although they don't float in the air. Okay, so are there regular like dog treadmills, or are they just treadmills?
No, there are for people who have really big running dogs. They'll have to get all the running out and they don't have time. They'll put them on a treadmill and they'll get
What's
that
the difference?
instinct out. What do you mean?
Why can't I use a dog treadmill or vice versa?
It's very short, probably.
Yeah, they're
or
small.
like a human.
They're not
What?
big
What does it
enough.
matter how long it is?
Well, you might fall
Whatever,
off.
let's keep going. This is riveting stuff. Okay, which brings us to predictions that the Jetsons got wrong, including flying cars, hygiene machines that brush your hair and teeth, a machine that makes you breakfast at the push of a button, and Georgia's 3-hour, 3-day work week. I could get down with that. So what do you think about the lasting impact of the Jetsons? Do you think over the next 40 years we'll see some of the show's other predictions come true?
I would like to not see flying cars because I just think people don't know how to drive. So getting everybody to fly properly is really just a scary idea. So I hope that doesn't come true.
Very scary. Could you imagine Tori flying around?
No, I can't. Didn't she run over one of those? She ran over one of those.
Because we've seen your Prius and it looks like a Matchbox car that, remember you press it and dent would flip over? Like it looks like
It's
every
a good
week.
little car.
You recently
Where
did
is
something.
it right now?
I did. It's in the shops.
I know, I just kidding.
I will say this: the 3D printing that Star Trek has, where they'd say, "I'd like a tea at 70 degrees," and it comes out of nowhere, like the air. The Jetsons had that. I'd like breakfast, and the eggs come out. That's happening in the future. 3D printing is using synthetic proteins to actually create food. So you will be able to print your steak, print your mashed potatoes. But for people who are in poverty, this is a wonderful thing because we can print peanut butter protein. We can print things that'll get to them fast. Rice. So actually, we're closer to the Jetsons than we thought. I didn't mean to go on.
Do you have any more? Do you have any more
That
food
was deep.
examples?
I was like,
So
wow.
sorry.
Okay.
So sorry. That's all I had.
Is there anything you'd like to see, Erica, in the future that perhaps we don't have yet?
I'm just hoping to make it to the future.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I
just
hear
in
ya.
general.
But just you want to walk into the future, not on a moving sidewalk.
Whatever the method of transportation to get there.
At the airport,
I'm
do
gonna be on
you
it.
take the moving sidewalk or do you prefer to walk?
Always.
You got to get on
always.
there.
You can get a nice rhythm when you're walking on that thing.
Do you feel better than other people when you're walking on there?
Ellen says it's hard to get off because you do that weird, like, you don't know how to do it.
I'm like, man, I'm moving at such an incredible speed.
And some people just like want to get where they're going really fast, and it's like, okay, I'm sorry, I have a stroller and a bag, and like, okay, I'm trying to stay to the left or the right. But like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
You're one of those. I was behind someone and I recorded it, and they were holding hands on the moving walkway, and I recorded it. I'm like,
Colin and I don't go that far.
Do I say something? Coming up on DBL, our interview with Starship Troopers actor Casper Van Dien, how he's returning to space for his new sci-fi series. Speaking of the Jetsons.
Stop this crazy thing!
Both San Francisco and New York State have issued public health declarations in response to monkeypox, as both try to contain local outbreaks. And there are reports that the Biden administration may issue what's called a public health emergency declaration. That's at the federal level. So what would that do? Let's verify. We spoke with James Hodge, a health law professor from Arizona State University, Megan McGinty, an epidemic and disaster response expert from Johns Hopkins University, and we looked at information from the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response. A public health emergency declaration is made by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Xavier Becerra in this case.
It would allow HHS to instantaneously do some things that it can't presently do quickly.
It enables Becerra to hire people, make grants, enter contracts, waive certain requirements, and access additional funds.
Usually during emergency declarations, like with opioids or things we've seen in the past, there actually would be a freestanding fund ready to be used for devoting to these purposes. We've been working to refill that fund post-COVID, and to my knowledge to date, it's not yet been refilled. In fact, Congress has been reticent to do it. Now, monkeypox may change its mind very quickly, but the sheer fact is the funds that normally would be there to the tune of millions of dollars simply may not be at this point in time.
It can also allow states and local jurisdictions to purchase general supplies at reduced cost. McGinty says there's also a symbolic value.
The act of making an emergency declaration calls attention to a problem and says this is of significance that we as a country need to be paying attention to this.
With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. Starship Troopers is still one of the most talked about cult classic films, and earlier we spoke to Casper Van Dien about returning to space for his new sci-fi series. Casper Van Dien, thank you so much for joining DBL.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
So it's been 25 years since you went to war with the giant alien insects in Starship Troopers. So do people still recognize you from the movie after all these years?
One of the greatest thrills I have is that Starship Troopers has got such a huge, ongoing, continuing, and seems to be growing fan base. I've been yelled at my whole life. People just yelling different quotes, going, "Come on, you apes, you want to live forever." So it's fun.
So let's talk about this, because you were the 20th Tarzan for Tarzan and the Lost City, but you were the only Tarzan actor to film in Africa. I talk about this a lot, going into other creatures' habitats. I don't like for them to come into mine. So I'm wondering if you have any scary incidents with the wildlife on set.
I do. I have several from Tarzan. There was a lot of things that were really dangerous with that. One of them was a baby elephant charged me, and it was walking by. Jane March jumps off the elephant. We're supposed to wave at the big elephant, and the little baby elephant walks by. It's the size of a Volkswagen bus, so it's still like 1.5 tons or whatever it is. But it nudged its head up against me during Tarzan, and I kind of pushed its head. And later they said, Tarzan, never push a baby's elephant's head. It'll want to play, crash. And so the elephant backed up, its ears went out, and then it charged me, and I go, Jane, run. And then the elephant hit me with its tusks. I grabbed on, it lifted me 4 feet up over its head and slammed me down. No. Went back in, it went back up to do it again when it dropped me, and I just ran up the hill and got away from it, and they came down and calmed it down. But it was pretty scary.
You're heading back to space, the final frontier, which I love, in your new sci-fi action series, Salvage Marines. Your character, Samuel, joins the Salvage Marines. Can you just tell us what a Salvage Marine is and what their mission is? I thought it was like salvaging gold in space.
It is. It's salvaging gold in space, salvaging other wrecks in space, and actually we even find out later, which is when he starts questioning authority, we also salvage humans. So there's different things that happen. There's a lot. There's a lot of darkness. So you're all born into debt. You're all born in with, a debt you'll never get out of, and it's passed down to your kids and then his grandkids. And so you have this unsurmountable debt that's just so massive and overwhelming. The only way to get out is to join the Salvage Marines, but there's an 80% mortality rate there. So, this is where this character starts questioning things later, but he joins up for a noble reason because his wife is pregnant, and it's a late pregnancy and we didn't expect it. And that's why he didn't join it before, because he was like, I'm not going to die. But then when he is a kid, he's like, I can't leave this debt to him. It'll be too much.
Wow. So your wife is actually in the series with you. What's it like working with your own wife?
Jenny Lou Wonder plays Jada, and she does it so well. She's such a badass in this. It's so cool to see.
Casper, thank you so much for joining us on DBL. For our viewers, you can watch Casper's new series, Salvage Marines, on Popcorn Flicks. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Casper.
Thank you so much.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Merrick Garland, and more importantly, Tori, why should you care? Let me fill you in. All right, let's go back to President Obama, 2016. He had an open seat on the Supreme Court after Justice Scalia died. It was a no-brainer that Obama nominates this extremely smart, Harvard-educated, moderate, and well-liked lawyer from Chicago. But, and this is a huge but, famously, the Republican-led Senate at the time refused to even hold a hearing to consent to his confirmation. The standoff lasted a whopping 293 days, the longest ever, and in the end, Garland never made it to the bench, and Mitch McConnell became famous as that guy that didn't let Garland have a chance. Eventually, President Trump came to power and successfully nominated Neil Gorsuch for the vacancy. So now, fast forward to Joe Biden's presidency. Joe immediately nominates Garland to be his attorney general, which, if you didn't know, don't worry, it's fine. It's basically America's super lawyer, the top guy, the big kahuna. He's the most powerful lawyer in the United States and the head of the entire Justice Department. But again, Tori, why do you want me to know this? Because remember the January 6th committee? Well, only Merrick Garland can decide if charges are filed after all of that. Yup. It's up to this guy and this guy alone to charge former President Trump with criminal charges due to his actions on January 6th. He holds all the power, and to be honest, this has a lot of people very worried. You see, if Merrick Garland was an animal, he would be a sloth. Maybe a tortoise. He is renowned for doing everything by the book, extremely carefully. Now, slow and meticulous is fabulous when you're trying to build a case, but not so fabulous when there's a time limit. And last Friday, the January 6th committee was like, yo, Garland, TikTok, time's up. Representative Jamie Raskin, a leading member of the committee, went on Sirius XM and told Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, that he is, quote, impatient with the slow pace of Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice regarding Trump. Quote, obviously I'm impatient. We don't have a lot of time, certainly in Congress, to do our work because at the end of this Congress, we're over, noting that a new Congress begins in January. Quote, we're in a hurry, but we're also in a hurry for America because we've got to deal with people who attack the constitutional order before the 2024 election. And we just heard it worked. Merrick Garland has announced this week the Department of Justice will be investigating Trump for federal criminal charges. So, does the tortoise get the hair? Now you know.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Welcome back. Today we are remembering a couple of very notable people who died over the weekend, including Bill Russell, who passed away peacefully yesterday at the age of 88. Bill Russell won 11 championships playing for the Boston Celtics. He then went on to become the first black head coach in a major American sports league. We're also remembering Nichelle Nichols, who passed away yesterday at the age of 89. Nichelle was one of the first black women to appear on TV in a main role on Star Trek. She took part in one of the first interracial kisses ever seen on TV with her co-star William Shatner.
There it is. Lieutenant Uhura, who I absolutely love, both of them changed their field in different ways and are giants for breaking into that.
Yeah, business. And quickly, Bill Russell. I saw on the ticker, I was watching something and I saw Bill. I had to do a double take because what a legend. What a legend. Both legends. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.